I'm an applied mathematician, and in 1972 I was working with the DSIR, which, since it was in the control of scientists, allowed freedom, free from political control, to ask questions and do some research such as this. So I started with a series of studies of the limits to growth, which was first and quite simple computer model of the world, and went on to study other far more complicated computer models, far more complex and detailed. First, it was difficult to see how to tackle such a big question. How do you work out what the future of the world may be? What's the methodology? You need a crutch to get started with because it seems far too big a problem to tackle. The methodology that was common at the time was that of scenarios. It was held you can't forecast the future. If you can't forecast the future, you just develop a whole set of alternative pictures and see how each of them goes. But of course you can. You just wait a few years. You forecast what will happen in the coming 10 or 20 years. 10 or 20 years later, you can test it. Well, I then decided to make this one forecast, and I can tell you it's proving very robust. We're following it quite closely. Now, how does one choose between a lot of different pictures of the future? What should be the guiding light? The answer there clearly is in who will control the world. Who's in control of the world? They will choose the direction that the world follows. So what's this? All of a sudden I'm introducing politics into science. All of a sudden I'm introducing religion into science. But it's inevitable because the worldview or the paradigm is going to determine which way the world goes, and it isn't my preferred worldview. This is never my preferred view. The question is, who's in control? Which way will they direct the world? The answer is continuation. The powerful will continue to be powerful, and the world will continue along the pattern that it was following. Now, what was learnt through all this process is that this human race, this intelligent species, is collectively acting like a complete idiot. And this has been obvious for a long time. 60 years ago, Walt Kelly had his swamp possum Pogo say, "I've met the enemy and he is us." And 30 years ago, Monty Python, another great philosopher of life on Earth, wrote in their Galaxy song, "So remember, when you're feeling very small and insecure, how amazingly unlikely is your birth, and pray that there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, because there's bugger all down here on Earth." You see, out of all this, you get the good news and the bad news. The good news is that this is a man-made global crisis coming upon us, and there's solutions. No problems, we could solve it, we could settle it. The bad news is that collectively the human race doesn't care. Collectively you have this stupidity. We are locked into a mania for growth, which is controlled by the super wealthy. So that's the reality, and it's not a nice one, but it should be faced. So that's really the point of these talks. Not, let's be hopeful, things will be okay, but face the reality, and if it's a difficult reality, we better try and do something about it. Now, the focus is largely, in this discussion, on human needs, but there's more to the planet, there's more to life than that.
Put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't